write notes. We set reminders. We keep diaries. That's how humans remember. But computers? They don't have brains. So how do they remember? Imagine stepping into a giant warehouse. Inside, there are billions of tiny switches. Each switch can be on or off. That's it. Just two states. Yet from those simple switches, computers build memory. Every photo, every song, every document, all stored as patterns of ons and offs. This is the secret language of computers. And today we'll explore how those tiny switches grow into bigger systems. RAM, ROM, hard drives, and SSDs. Welcome to the story of how computers remember. Inside every computer, memory begins with something very small. A transistor. Think of a transistor as a tiny switch. It can be on. It can be off. That's all. On means the computer sees a 1. Off means the computer sees a 0. Together, these ones and zeros are called bits. One bit by itself doesn't say much, but when you put billions of them together, they can describe anything. A photo, a song, even this video. Imagine walking into a giant hall, filled with light switches. Each switch is either glowing or dark. The pattern of those switches. That's memory. This is how computers start to remember. By arranging simple on and off states into complex patterns. From these tiny switches, bigger systems are built. And the first of those systems is RAM, the desk where your computer works. Now that we know computers use tiny switches to store bits, let's explore how they organize those bits while working. The first stop is RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. Think of RAM as your desk at work. It's the space where you spread out papers, open books, and keep things you're using right now. The bigger the desk, the more you can keep in front of you. The smaller the desk, the more often you have to put things away and fetch them again. RAM works the same way. It holds the data and programs your computer is actively using. That's why opening many apps at once can slow things down. Your desk gets crowded. But here's the catch. RAM is temporary. When the power goes off, everything on the desk disappears. It's like leaving the office and finding your desk cleared overnight. That's why RAM is called volatile memory. It's fast. It's handy. But it doesn't keep things forever. So if RAM is the desk, what about the instructions that must never be forgotten? For that, computers use ROM, their built-in manual. If RAM is the desk where you work, then ROM is the manual that never leaves the office. ROM stands for read-only memory. It's the place where permanent instructions are stored. Think of it as a locked book. You can open it and read it. But you can't erase the pages or rewrite them. When you press the power button, your computer looks into this book. It finds the instructions that tell it how to wake up, how to check its parts, and how to start the operating system. Unlike RAM, ROM doesn't forget when the power is off. It's steady, reliable, always there. So while RAM is the temporary desk, ROM is the built-in manual that guides the computer every time it starts. And next, we'll move from these small memories to the big ones, the hard drives, where your files live. Now let's move to the place where your files live. Your photos, your music, your documents. For many years, computers stored them on something called a hard disk drive or HDD. Think of an HDD as a giant library. Inside, there are shelves filled with books. But these shelves spin around like a carousel. Each book is a piece of data. The computer has a mechanical arm, like a librarian. It moves to the right shelf, opens the book, and reads the information. Because the shelves are spinning, it takes time to find the right spot. That's why HDDs are slower than RAM. But they can hold a huge amount of data, much more than your desk or your manual. HDDs use magnetism to store information. Tiny spots on the spinning disk are magnetized one way or the other. That represents ones and zeros. It's reliable. It's affordable. And for decades, it was the main way computers remembered your files. But spinning shelves have limits. They can break. They can wear out. And they're not as fast as modern needs demand. That's why a new kind of memory was invented. The solid-state drive, or SSD. A digital bookshelf with no moving parts. Hard drives with spinning shelves were useful for decades. But computers needed something faster. Something with no moving parts. That's where the solid-state drive, the SSD, comes in. Think of an SSD as a digital bookshelf. No spinning shelves. No mechanical arms. Just instant access. When you tap a book on this shelf, it appears in your hands immediately. That's how SSDs feel compared to HDDs: fast, quiet, reliable. Instead of magnetism, SSDs use flash memory. Tiny electronic cells store ones and zeros directly. It's like having a bookshelf made of glowing tiles, each tile remembering whether it's on or off. Because there are no moving parts, SSDs are less likely to break. They use less power, and they make your computer start up in seconds instead of minutes. Today, most modern laptops and desktops use SSDs. They've become the standard way computers remember your files. From spinning libraries to digital bookshelves, storage has come a long way. And now we can see the full picture of how computers remember. We've taken a journey through the memory of computers. It all begins with transistors, tiny switches that hold ones and zeros. From there, RAM acts like a desk, keeping things ready while you work. ROM is the locked manual, guiding the computer every time it starts. Hard drives are spinning libraries, storing huge collections of files. And SSDs are digital bookshelves, giving instant access with no moving parts. Together, these systems let computers remember everything, from your favorite song, to your holiday photos, to the very instructions that make them come alive. So next time you save a file or open an app, remember the journey it takes. From switches to desks to manuals to libraries and bookshelves. That's the story of how computers remember. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter of this digital adventure.